got some folks talking to old JoJo. I guess JoJo Dancer or something. Boy, there's some heavy hitters there. But I'm going to go and get off the middle of the road, my friend. I'm going to wave to you one more time. Saturday night. I'll see you.
Got a good carrier.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The O2 Radio Network.
Yes, sir.
There's going to be no troubles, my friend. Hey, I heard that.
Break OTR. Yeah, Gary 006 out of Sholo checked in a little earlier and said to wave a hand and 73s to everybody.
Trying to get it back.
Yeah, break OTR.
Yeah, Dennis, I thought I heard you say 147 a minute minute ago. I didn't know if I missed you calling me. 21:45.
Thomas Big Mouth, always always a pleasure, my friend.
Hey, Tony, we got you checked in.
All right, there, Hippopotamus, take care, my friend. Right back to you.
Hey, 145, they didn't get you checked in.
And I guess we'll put it up later when Mother Nature allows it. Hey, Hippopotamus Big Mouth, take care, my friend. Be safe. I'll see you. Bye.
Okay, copy that. Thank you.
And 24 checked in earlier, too.
Number 30 up here in the potato patch.
WR 25. Roger, Dennis. Yeah, it's a much appreciated weekend off. Anyway, back to you. Anyway, thanks, Dennis.
Six, waving that big old 4-1 one more time.
$195 checking in. $195 checking in.
All right, now it sounds like I've got some audio on the stream and I can hear myself. That should be better for those listening in on the radio stream.
Snatcher from the BYU 6 with that 4-1.
So okay for 24, okay for 195. Double 147, okay for 145, Tony.
Snatcher, I think Mother Nature is doing a drive-by. Hey, Soul Snatcher.
Anybody else need to get an early check-in over?
Hey, Soul Snatcher, big old wave. Hey, my friend, have a good rest of your weekend. I'm going to sit...
All right, well, we'll just keep going through the Motor Mouth Mall clones around the Pacific Northwest here. We've got a check-in for 00, SWL1, SWL number 2. I need to look at my chart and see if Mr. OBP is joining us tonight. He probably is. And indeed, he is there, probably trying to roust me out of my nest. So sounds good. Mr. OBP, I've got you checked in as well. Let's do SWL3. We got a proxy check-in for SWL3, if I can get the computer to work right here. And I do believe from ORN tonight, Mr. Rainmaker Levon is also checking in.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead, over.
Yeah, number 60, Joe, and myself, 77.
Okay, running the board here, 60 for Mr. Hustler. Got Joe checked in, and the ever-popular 1017. 77 checking in as well. Thanks.
Thank you.
Break OTR 61.
All right, and 61, if I can sneak in between the skip. Hello, Dean, 61, I've got you checked in, over.
Thank you.
Wonder where they're hearing us tonight. Are they hearing us all over? Sounds like it. I'll keep going through the roll call here. We'll get that taken care of. Thanks for standing by. SWL7, he's out there somewhere if you can hear me through the noise.
Yes, number 7 is here. I just got off the phone with Harvey. We were talking about you. Anyway, yes, please check me in.
All right, you are checked in. I do believe I have the audio on all items of interest now. That sounds good, and we're good to go. Sounding good, and I can tell that you have a radio ready to go, and we'll be checking in the tube radios. If you just joined us, we'll be checking in the tube radios thanks to our radio collectors. That'll be coming up after the roll call, so stay tuned for that. SWL10, Chrissy, beaconing in, 30 and 10 beaconing in from, as he says, the potato patch earlier. Let's see if we go from potatoes to corn, from potatoes to cornbread, SWL11. And also SWL12. So Mr. Cornbread and Dapper Dan, who I'm sure never misses a venue because he is sound asleep. So you've got one up on me there, Dapper Dan. SWL13, Mr. Cobra. Let's see, I'm going to have, because I don't have my other computer, I'm going to have to constantly jog back and forth between the two items of interest here, but that's okay. Also, SWL 14. Can we hear Sanger tonight? Hello, Sean. Over. Listening for Sangertown. SWL 14. But I heard Sean in earlier. I will stand by because we'll be here till way past 10 o'clock tonight. SWL 16. Anoka, Minnesota. Charlie, yeah. Thank you for for looking at the sign and not disturbing me, but I am here. We even made, I even got the suit on. You know, this suit has the lining in the sleeve is messed up, so I was trying to put on the jacket here, and my left hand would not come out of the sleeve hole because it was going inside the lining. I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, thanks for checking in. SWL 17. I think that's a true OTR boardroom malfunction. SWR 18, Mikey, Mr. KDA from Facebook checking in. Also, right here in front, with the cue cards, they're heavy-duty stock tonight. So if he needs to whap me over the head to wake me up, that will certainly work. Derby, New York, sounding good. Thank you. Thank you, Chet, for joining us here on the Old Hill Radio Network. SWL, Harvey is out and about. He is in the mobile tonight. He is probably listening, probably one of the unknown SWLs. We'll go through who's listening tonight. So, Harvey, if you're tuning in, I think you may have left me a message, but we will find out what that is. But thanks for the what they did on the ship and with a wake-up call. I should have set one of those up earlier. SWL 21. Mr. JT, I will head over to Old Radio Night, and I'm going to bring up the audio because I think that Old Radio Night is still beaconing on the air. JT has this, what looks like Las Vegas lighting going on in the shack tonight. The strip. He's
on 20 right now.
The strip has nothing on 21. Nice microphone, good lighting. If you want, check out ORN, Old Radio Night, still going on this evening, using the Lafayette Comstat 25B, it looks like, going on tonight. Good radio. So that's the audio coming in from those guys tonight. And were I able to give you the video? That's what I was looking for. That's ORN tonight, Unit 21, and the Lafayette Comstat 25B beaconing. I wonder if they've got Skip going on. The DX map would be, let me see the DX map tonight, see if it's actually true to form as it draws out here. And you can see the whole Oregon, Washington, Nevada, Arizona, looking good. The West Coast, not too good, but we've got 6-meter openings coming through tonight, so good to hear something. Over to Tyler, SWL22, who I think came in one of the weeks I was off, looking in to see who is, let me get into the right picture, who is out there tonight. Hello to Derby, New York. Lots of Fresno, California stations. Sylvania, Ohio will be coming up to you. Hans in Copenhagen, where it is probably the sun is just coming up, so it's not too hard to get up. Plymouth, Minnesota. Yellow Springs, Ohio. San Bernardino, Squamish, BC. I was in your neck of the woods just a few days ago. What a beautiful time I had up there. The weather was great. It was 70s, 60s, except on the big glacier, where it was a little bit chilly. Germantown, Wisconsin, Wilmington, Ohio. Listening here tonight in the Old Tube Radio Network. SWL 23. I think I saw Mr. 23 Skidoo earlier on tonight, and so I will get 23 checked in. And I agree with you. The Old Tube Radio suit needs alignment. I managed to get both hands through, but there is, I guess after 60 or 70 years, it is time to take the seersucker suit to the tailors. Thanks for checking in, Mitch. Over to SWL 24, who checked in earlier. SWL 25, who checked in earlier. Page 2, SWL 27. SWL 28 is Gary listening in from Sacramento. I see Albert in the gang. Thank you, Albert. Squamish boys are in listening. I will try again at some point, maybe to bring up the satellite link, see if it'll show up. Last time it wasn't showing that the link was up, but no problem to see if we can't do that coming up. SWL 29 with the proxy check-in. Refreshing my screen. There's Gary. Says hello, everyone. 28 checking in. The swamp cooler is on the blink again in the green room. Call the man. Actually, I did go up on the ladder. I've got a special filter. Believe it or not, I've got a special outdoor pre-filter on the evaporative cooler that filters the air coming into the pads. And so I had to change that. And all is working well. Although I may not look cool, calm, and collected, I think I actually am. So we got 30 in. I can date that. SWL 31.
Hey, Dennis, number 30 checking in live.
Live and direct. How silly of me not to ask for the 9-over signal coming in. And you are, the skip is sort of faded out here, with the exception of the big antenna on the potato patch. Thanks for stopping by. Over.
Roger. Just wanted to let you know that I want to check the MC-11A General and let Harvey know it's on the air and working good up here, if you would.
All right, I will do that. And it does sound good. And Harvey I think he will be with us shortly, and he is listening, I do believe. So sounding good. SWL 30 from our DX, our skip zone tonight up in Idaho. SWL 32. SWL 33, myself, Bozo Control, and all of those who are actually, there it is, who are actually awake here in the studio tonight. SWL 34, Jimmy, who is probably glad that I have found where the air chair is, and I'm actually sitting in it, and I have the transmitter fired up. Thanks, Jim, for the good words on all the many Facebook pages saying, yes, indeed, you can go to your Old Tube Radio Network and hear some Tube radios tonight. Railroader checking in, 546 out of Chicago, and a radio wave to the Facebook Chicago group listening in as well. SWL 35 from Cheyenne, Wyoming. I think the special Cheyenne, Wyoming days are over. So, Mr. Bill, if you are out there, Red Monkey Communications, we've got you checked in tonight. SWL 36. Shortwave listener 37.
37 here. Good evening, Dennis. Good to hear you back.
It is good to be back. The weather seems nice. The cat was very glad that I was not lost forever. And you are sounding good on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Thank you.
And let's see, what did I do with it? I want to make sure I got my 00 logged in. 147. Over to page 2 is where we're at. We're playing the home game. And everything sounds weird. I've got these really horrible, and I think they're Radio Shack headphones with the microphone. I didn't even know I had these. It was the only one I had that had the proper plug to go in where they would plug them in. Plus, I'm missing the extra computer that has a lot of stuff on it. So if you see me more so than usual jumping around and clicking the mouse, that is why. SWIL 38 Sam in Byron. Sam, I drove very close to Byron. I had to take a jaunt up to Oakland to catch my plane to Seattle, and I do remember seeing the Byron turnoff on what was I on? 122, 120? I don't know. Whatever road that Google says this is how you should go. The Byron turnoff was there, and I thought, oh man, if I had a radio with me, we'd be chatting right now. So we got you checked in, and you are looking good. SWL 39.
Let me say, number 38 tried to check in there, Dennis, if you can hear me.
I can hear you, yeah. If Sam was listening out of Byron, I drove by the city there not too long ago, last week. So we'll get 38 checked in via the Skipland. Thank you 10 or 30, and thank you 38. Over.
Yeah, anytime. Have a good one.
All right. So we got the item in there. I think I've got a crossband. Let me see if that will work here. If I've got that going on. KB6 GFD. Hello, radio.
Oh, I'll take a basic, Dennis. K6USY. I'm up at Big Step in Kings Canyon, and we were set up for telescopes, and we got lightning coming in, so we're packing it up. But SWL is still here and on the air. K6USY.
Okay, you are doing a good job. You are not full quieting. My antenna is still up in the trees. That's always a good shot down here in the valley. Aaron SWL 52 up in the Sierras, probably at about 5, 6, 7,000 feet, to dodging the clouds and trying to stay safe. So I'm glad you have the little rubber ducky antenna, and we've got you checked in. Have fun. Over.
6,300 feet, and nice and cold up here. K6USY.
Yeah, the snows of winter will be coming on soon. All right, perfect timing. We were just about ready to come up to you, so looking good. Thanks for checking in, KB6GFD. From the crossband, that still works. Still was able to get that on, and I'm glad I did. Aaron, on the handy-talkie, was going to do some stargazing. When I was up where I was, we were far enough to be in the zone for the aurora that was supposed to be happening, but it was cloudy, out in the middle of the ocean. Didn't see anything that looked like it should, so I missed that. It might have been there, but don't know. So sometimes, like Aaron said, you just got to try. You just got to try and do your best. We are looking for SWL 40. I'm listening to the Skipland. I am looking to see if 40 is in. Not yet. I do see SWL 41, Road Dog 507, staying up late in New York. From the Hudson Valley, good evening, everyone. Thank you. Thank you there, RD, for checking in and hanging out with us tonight. The old Tube Radio Network. I will say hello to some of the other stations as well. I just want to get through the roll call just a little bit to catch up a bit. SWL 42. I'm going to get the proxy check-in for 42. I've got a proxy check-in for 43 and SWL 44. I bet 360 is out there listening to the skip and not to me, so we've got Ray checked in. SWL 45, hello, Paul and Kelly. If you are all listening, I'm getting you checked in. I know it is rough up on the hill tonight, so there is an X in the square for 45. And Victor Alpha 3 73. I saw your 73, and I wanted to get in and acknowledge you before you take off, since it's Sunday morning out there on the Old Tube Radio Network. So thanks for stopping by and saying hello, radio. I was not in Ontario, but I was in British Columbia for a short stay. Very nice place. So thank you for stopping by on the Old Tube Radio Network. And that is down out. Have a good evening. We will catch you next week. SWL 46.
Hippo, they're probably going to cut me off at the hours. Hippo, they might cut me off, Hippo, plastic waiver.
SWL 47.
Good evening from the Radio Lounge. This is SWL 47, and it's absolutely great to hear you again, OTR. I'm glad you're back and safe. And I hope the Love Boat was pleasant for you.
Yeah, I've got all sorts of stories about the Love Boat. It's more like Fashion Fair on the ocean during the final week of Christmas. that's sort of what I can tell you about that. But it definitely was an experience. You were sounding good, and I think you heard Aaron is up there in the high country beaconing down as well. So you are doing a good job from the Radio Lounge tonight.
Okay, well, I have to tell you first and foremost, that description is really, really, really vivid in my mind. I could tell you about Fashion Fair on Christmas Eve. May I ask what cruise line it was, and perhaps more importantly, and again, this is coming from someone who absolutely loves to visit radio rooms or radio shacks or
You took me away from the sweetest girly girl and her paralyzed but trusting cousin for this?
About my time in the...
I thought we told you guys to quit snooping around here.
But did you make it into the radio room of the boat that you were on?
Well, I did take the extended cruise where you go up into the bridge and you go down and see the the refrigerators and the laundry and the crew. And we went into what I would call the equivalent of master control for a TV station. And everything was, internet savvy. They did have, and I asked this question, I raised my hand and asked about radio, and they said yes, and they pointed over there. You had little, like, Baofeng Motorola's, which I think they used from deck to deck or ship to ship. I did not see any radio communications at all. As far as I know, there was no radio room, or we never went into one. There were plenty of radar rotating antennas and things like that, but unfortunately, I did not get any type of a radio room tour, were there to actually be a radio room. So maybe that is a thing of the past. Over.
I don't know. Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah, that's a
Quagmire.
Good description of what I would imagine a modern radio.
Giggity, 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 ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bing, bang, ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bing, bang.
There's a nice old radio room that I might be visiting on a boat in a short while, at least in a few weeks. But that's a topic for some other time. It's an old boat that I've already been in once before. But anyways, glad you're back, and it wouldn't be Saturday night without OTR. Thanks, 73.
All right, well, this was definitely an experience for me. This was a giant floating city, probably a little bit more than than I would like, but there were some great sunrises like I have never seen when you are out on the sort of balcony all by yourself at 5 a.m. So there are some moments to bring back. Thanks for checking in tonight. The Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio Glowing in the Dark. OldTubeRadio.net is the audio gate, video gate. I don't know what they call it. We've got a YouTube link to that, and if you are lucky enough to be right here on 27085 Channel 11, you can say hello to us live and direct, like Mike just did. I want to say hello to, before I lose Radio Free, in the land of the Lux. Hello, Scott. I will be joining the crew back on 199 and wherever they might be doing the big audio soon. I think when I get all of my pieces and parts back together. But thanks for tuning in on the Old Tube Radio Network, and I know you are enjoying the Mega Amp from the Angel and the Crew. Let's look for SWL 48. SWL 49. And I didn't look. Let me look at the. Where would they be? The sunspot numbers? What is our sunspot numbers tonight? I think they were in double digits. So OBP, what can we attribute all this nice E-skip going on? Is it the weather? What was going on? I don't know. SWL 50. I'm glad they're out there. Otherwise, we wouldn't have heard the 30. SWL 51.
SWL 51 checking.
All right, I hear you. You jumped in the break, in the little valley of no skip going on. So I hear you there, 305. We got you checked in. Thanks for saying hello, Radio 51. 52 checked in moments ago via the crossband. SWL 53. I've got to check in for Mr. Belair. Bob, if you're listening, we've got you checked in. Over. Hippopotamus is a popular guy tonight. Did he sign in once here on OTR? I think he did. The Sunspot Powerball number is 23. I think a few of you may have that. After taxes, it may not leave you with much DX, but at least you will be a winner. I got a radio check-in for SWL 54, SWL 55.
55, checking in.
All right, beaconing, sounding good through the noise here. M&M, thanks for saying hello, radio.
Can I get a proxy for 65-2 if he's still not out there?
Yeah, I will do it now, and if he stops by and says hello, radio, we'll change it to an X in the square for Eric. Thank you. Over.
Sounds like a link in it. West on the smallest station now.
We are looking for... Oh, you know what? Do I have... Let me see if I've got it up here. Let me see if the Running Man is up. Oh, it looks like we are number... I can't tell. Number 4? Number 1. Hello to the number 1 Running Man, SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56, just for kicks.
Looking good, sounding good. Thanks for holding down the fort here in central Fresno while we were gone. You are looking good, and we've got the X in the square. SWL 57, right on time. The X in the square for Mr. Brown Dog Audio checking in. Soup, beans, cornbread, fried spam, which I understand is pretty good. Spam, eggs, bacon, and spam. Green onions, fried taters, and homemade green tomato relish for dinner tonight. Surprised we're still awake. I said the same thing just moments ago when the phone was ringing. Harvey said, "Where the heck are you?" Sounds good. I'm not a big eater, but let me tell you, when you get on one of those floating shopping malls, they make sure there's plenty to eat, and they make sure they cook it the way you like it. So that was kind of fun. Thanks for checking in there, Mr. BDA. Let's go to SWL 58. SWL 59. Uncle Hairball right there. Probably jumping over from ORN. Thank you, 59. Looking good, and should be able to join you guys now over at ORN. Thanks for... in fact, you've checked in for the entire 8 weeks. I'm counting the amount of checks on your text there. So I think you've checked in for the entire month. Doing good. SWL 60, you've got a check-in for Mr. Hustler. SWL 61 checked in earlier from, what is it, Madera Town? Where he was at. He was sounding good. SWL 62.
All right, I have to relay that because he just come off the mall. By A131, that City Waiver.
SWL 63.
Hey, mate. A131 Mustang. Worldwide superb audio, break.
SWL 64. And again, I will check through the chat. Anybody checked in early or something, did an early check-in, I want to make sure that we get you in line here. SWL 65. SWL 66. Oh, 65 has got a proxy check-in for Eric. SWL 66.
You can be out here on the ground plane. You're doing a fine job. Hey, Mustang Radio, A131, plastic up in the other green, got down. Bye.
Some stations getting down, some stations getting up. You can get down, you can get up. Just get out of the way for the old Tube Radio Network. SWL 67. Got a proxy. I got a note proxy 67 in, which I will. SWL 68.
All right, 131, all you again.
Michael often checks in early, so I will see if he tried to get in early. So, Michael, I bet you did. SWL 69. I saw Kenny. I saw Tulsa, Oklahoma in the early part when I was actually still awake. And so that was good. SWL 147 saying hello and welcome back. The weather was hot and decent conditions. Australia comes in, but whole West Coast blocks us. Well, right now you're here. We're hearing the guys talking to Australia. We're hearing Australia. We're hearing the West Coast. We're hearing it all. Made contact in Barbados. Great. And 73 and be cool. Dr. 887. Dr. Jess. SWL 147. And also, if you're listening, Neil, and look at the chart here. Look at the chart. I'm also checking in 00. Yeah, your name's under the... We did the 00. Your name is under that 00 again. So, looking good. I've got my official, or is it 00 checked in from Kakalaki. So, bueno. Wanted to say hello to Foxman 362. Also, 390 Wagon Masters joining us tonight over on the video chat. Your old Tube Radio Network. S9 Radio. It says the DX woke me up from my slumber. I wish it would have done that to me. I would have been here on time, Greg. So I heard you say that your internet was actually working better than typically. So hopefully we're hanging in there and not fading out tonight. Catherine Smith. Hello, Kathy. Catherine, talking to Foxman and all the group up here. RC Cola. Do they still sell that? Do they still have RC Cola? I used to buy that. And when I was a kid, you would put a dime in the machine and open the door, and you'd pull the bottle out, and there it would go. Mid-Atlantic Radio Repair. It says, lost his antenna when a tree hit my house during a storm. Well, that's not good. Past Monday in Maryland. So we'll see what he puts up when he can get rid of all the damage. So Mid-Atlantic Radio Repair, I hope you get things repaired. The radios and the antennas. SWL 79, I see. We'll get you checked in right now. That is, of course, 79, Mr. DC. Just seeing who else is out there saying hello radio on our network. Who is that? Joey, sorry. Tango Romeo 21 X-Ray. Thanks for the hello radio. Says good to see you back in the air chair. And it is good to be back in the air chair. Jay-Z, it says they need a recap. There's things I can't tell you. You know, what goes on board stays on board. Well, we'll see what we can do. I will be getting you checked in here shortly. Charlie Hustle 55 from his appearance over on Old Radio Night. Thanks for stopping by tonight. All right, there's 64. Craig was checking in. I figured he would be on there. So thanks, Craig. We got 64 checked in with the official X in the square. Mr. OBP telling me you've got no TX audio. Well, we did fix that. I was actually listening in on that. We're listening on the wrong headsets, but they are around. So, all right, doing good on the recap here. Thanks for joining us. Your old Tube Radio Network. We've got some great radios coming up. I've heard them already. Alpha 173, Copenhagen checking in after a swell time on ORN. Yeah, if you want a swell time, go check in on on Old Radio Night. And I do have some numbers. So let me actually add Hans, Alpha 173, ALPHA 173. And I've got you in on SWL 15, SWL 15. So we got you on the list. Not that one needs to be on the list for any particular purpose. But there you are. So let me get to 15. Hans officially checked in here on the Old Tube Radio Network. I think we're on page 3. If I were to be a guessing net control, I would say we're on page 3 and we are looking for SWL 70. And then SWL 71. I have to go to my other video here. There's SWL 13. Hello, Mr. Cobra. I see you there. We've got the X in the square. There's Stan checking in. SWL 71. Gotcha. A couple others checking in. All right, good. It's working as planned. SWL 72. Just like I imagined it. SWL 73. I got a proxy check-in for MI, a check-in for Miss Jilly, SWL 74. SWL 76, out of Johnson, near Rhode Island, Red Fox 1. Hello, radio. I'll get you checked in tonight, 76. Is that lightning? I don't think I just thought I heard lightning. SWL 77. Dennis checked in early, helping me with a little bit of testing on the infamous test channel. So all is good there. So 1017 is checked in. SWL 78, I see Wild Wildemar is on my screen saying hello radio a little bit earlier. So I get you checked in. Richard, and I hope to be back on the HF radio shortly at some time soon when all the calamity goes away. SWL 79, Mr. DC. I see Mr. DC. Greg saying, hope to hear you on the Sporadic E. Got the big Bamboo 5-element quad looking your way. And I see some openings into Central California. Let me go back to the opening page. It's very possible. We were talking the short hop here. Here's the right to click on the right picture. There's our map. Starting to open up across the desert there in San Bernardino County, where you guys are, maybe a little bit far that way. So we will see. And it's up around 6 meters, believe it or not. The band is pretty wide open. So we will be listening for you. We have a lot of good ears out there that can listen in. So that would be a treat to hear the mellifluousness of S9 radio. Fire up one of the Brownings. Give us that good 12AX7 audio. Let's go to SWL 80. And, I didn't check the REA meter tonight. That's always a good indication that we're working, and that looks pretty darn good. It may not be pretty darn good, but it looks that way. And with that in mind, I think it is time for the Bob and Steve show. So let me see if I can fire up the... Yeah, okay, we're good to go here.
27.0850 TR, channel 11.
They never fall asleep on the job. Had a cold wave in Fresno today, down to 98. Actually, I'm not even sure. I saw it was 94, 96. I did a little work on the evaporative cooler, and it seemed to be nice. I hear we're going to be breaking the triple digits tomorrow, so it's like, welcome back from all that nice 70-degree weather. They were complaining in Seattle, man. They were saying, oh, it's so hot. Out there in Juneau, Alaska, it's like, oh, it's so hot. It was like 75. So I said, you don't know what hot is, brother. Cheyenne Frontier Days was great. Got a big silver a silver belt buckle. I wonder what that was. I thought maybe it was a 440 antenna, but it just has something to go on the belt with OTR, Western cowboy hat, very nice. I will be decked out. I will be good for, and I think it comes in April. It's called Big Hat Days, the Clovis Rodeo. I will be representing OTR quite nice, donning all that regalia. The Jingle Singers helped the Girl Scouts with the corner lemonade stand. I had a corner lemonade stand long ago, back in the days where you could charge 5 cents for a cup of lemonade and still make a profit. The Mother's Baked Cookies to add to the tables. Had to extend it all week. That's good. I missed a lot of this stuff, but you were sending me the pictures. All the proceeds went to the Veterans Hospital. They've got a nice VA hospital not too far away. Plus, they have another building, another venue down in the south part of town. Very nice. So good to be able to help out. And that cause, Bob and Steve helped Leroy with his Moonraker antenna to make it work on 10 meters. Maybe a little snip here and a snip there, or just put it through a really good tuner. All is working great, and he's making many East Coast contacts, probably South America and to the Pacific as well. At the bar tonight from Lake Charles, Louisiana, Steamboat Bill's crawfish boils. I think they're bowls. The type is too small for my very bad magnification glasses here. But anyway, get out there and say, give me one of those Steamboat Bill things on the shrimp boils. And fries, all out by the pavilion. It is nice. The weather is perfect. You should be out there. Join us after the net. Drinks are on Bob and Steve. I always say they are the best guys to the Old Tube Radio Network crew. We always appreciate them. Don't forget to feed there was plenty of fish. There were whales and otters and jumping salmon. And what else? There was bears eating the salmon, feeding it to their bear cubs. What else did we see? So I did not forget to feed the fish. Oh, and on these cruise ships, there's a lot of food going on. And there's probably, I'll just say it, a lot of food waste. They have, and I can't remember what the name of this device is. It takes all the food that people don't eat. They scrape all the plates or whatever they do, and they put it into this emulsifier thing and grind it up and then stuff it out of the ship like fish food so that the plant life, or rather the aquatic life, can eat this sort of melange mess, succotash of what people don't eat. So I guess that's a good thing. So they don't waste anything. They are definitely, so I was definitely helping feed the fish here last week. All right.
27.085 OTR, channel 11.
Back in a moment. All right, control room is back. I've got the RF gain turned up a little bit. That's why you see the constant S3, trying to make it, if you're listening on headphones like I am, so you don't hear the shh going on all the time. Page 4, SWL81. We've got a check-in for Steve Areno. SWL82. Is there a bones on frequency? Well, I'm going to give Ron a check-in. I didn't get in soon enough last night to jump in on the Ditchbanks sideband, Ned.
82 is here.
Oh, 82 is there? All right. I was just lamenting that I got in too late to jump in on the Ditchbanks sideband net that happens on channel 36 lower sideband at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Not sure if you were there or not. I'm just curious if you had similar skip conditions last night.
Well, 82 didn't make his own net either, so... Yeah, I had a retirement party to go to, so I missed my own net, and yeah, it must have been some bad conditions, kind of like tonight. But anyway, 82 checking in tonight, and yep, sorry about last night. Yep, had to be somewhere, and my fill-in had antenna problems or something, and I think we had 1017. He tried to relay that I wasn't out there, and the other guy, Daryl, Big D, out of Corsical, had radio problems. So anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it, and Dennis, you're quite the trooper for making it out here tonight and running in the net.
All right, people to see, places to go, and Yes, indeed, I had my Grundig Yacht Boy, the little portable SWL receiver, with me on the cruise, and I indeed listened in 27085 on Saturday evening off the coast. I guess they called the Alaskan, the interior passageway or whatever, and I didn't hear a darn thing. I heard some 20 meters. Nothing on 11, 40 meters was just static, but I listened. I thought, that some of you guys would be out there, but didn't hear anything. So, yeah, it's good to be back in the air chair. As you know, sometimes you have people to see and places to go. And that's what happens. But I'm sure you will be there next week, as will I. I think sometimes there's, what do they say? There's no place like sitting at home in the air chair. Thanks for checking in.
All right, Dennis. Thanks for being out there tonight. Sounding good.
All right. We are continuing directing that roll call. The tube radios will be showing up shortly. So if you've got one warming up, don't go away. Don't touch that dial. Chet is saying, can we put something on the meter? Well, I don't. Ooh, look at that. That goes way up. What is? Oh, that's the current, I think. We can go to the current. We can go to, is that SWR? No, that's SWR 0. All right, that's something else. Let's go to the big meter. Let's do that. That's showing current coming in. Where are we going? I'm almost awake. SWL 84. So I will get 84, 86, 87, and 88. That's Cheerios Kid, Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, Snowy Owl, respectively. Get you all checked in there. Looking good. SWL 89. We got a proxy check-in for SWL 90. SWL 91. My mouse is not working. Here we go. SWL 90. And I have to flip the page. I don't have my... I'm a little bit slow because I don't have my extra computer, so everything is stuck on one screen. I want to make sure I don't miss the good stuff here. Van Man, the receive is out on the Mark III Eagle. There's all sorts of little things. Is the RF gain turned up too high? Is there some switch in the back? We'll have to ask Harvey when he gets in. What would cause the receive to go out on a Mark III? Interesting. Let's see. I will look for, in case he checked in early, which he might have done, SWL 91. Put a hold on Felix tonight out there in the Bronx. Let's head over to SWL 95. And no Echo Link tonight. I don't have the Echo Link computer at my beck and call. SWL 96. And Mr. Prune Picker's out there. SWL 97. See if Jim is listening in from Boston tonight. Didn't want people to think that we weren't doing OTR anymore after a 2-week hiatus. SWL 98, Tracy. SWL 99, Radio Randy. Is he jumping in from Arizona tonight? Yeah, agreed, Van Man. Hope it's just a tube or something. I don't know. Maybe you can get in there and reseat the tubes. SWL 100, hello to Tony. Might be listening, and Tony always checks in via the Echo Link. Somebody give Tony a proxy check-in, and my apologies for not having the pieces and parts I need that are somewhere in transit to somebody. I hope they are. I hope they're going to get here. SWL 102. SWL 103. Shortwave listener 109. SWL 110. SWL 111, Robert was in earlier at oldtuberadio.net saying lots of stations on the stream tonight. I could hear myself in between them. Very good. So SWL check-in. He gave himself a confirmation of check-in, which you can do. We try to get the stream up early if you want to test your radio or see what the band is like. So keep that in mind. SWL 113. It seems like the skip has died out a little bit, but I think it will be back. SWL 114. Like they say, is this thing working? Let me go to the REA. Hello, radio. All right, that's a confirmation. That's actually connected to the output of the transmitter. So if there's RF and some audio, it will show up on the REA for sure. Let's go to, but the audio on the stream is a different story. I have a whole different setup for that, and I wasn't listening properly. Let's go to SWL 128. That's part of the fun, is making sure you know where you are at all times. And I will go over to the page and see if yeah, John is there, checking in and checking out, and catch you next week. All right, so John, thanks. I know he's been getting some early calls the last couple of weeks, but I really appreciate the fact that he jumps in, says hello, radio. Let's go to SWL 131. SWL 133. Shortwave listener 135.
SWL 135 checking in.
Hey, sounding good. Sounds like you just might be on a tube radio. I've got a spot for you, so don't go away.
That's good.
It is good. All right. Thanks for checking in. 135. SWL 137 with a proxy check-in. SWL 145 with an early check-in. Tony was in. SWL 147 with his second check-in. 00 and 147. Heading up to the Snow Beast. SWL 188. SWL 195. I heard Jim earlier through the skip sounding good, so we've got Course Gold checked in. Hello, radio. And then let's go to Mr. Shockwave, SWL 226. Anybody I miss? Anybody wants to chime in now? I will get you checked in, OTR listening. All right, without any further ado, I will take a moment or two to switch over to the tube radios, and we will get you all checked in. I will not sign off early tonight. For those who need to and want to get checked in, we will make sure we get you all. Back in a moment here on the Old Tube Radio Network. And I do think I'm hearing that occasional lightning crash up in the Sierras that Aaron was talking about. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you
27.45 megahertz. The O2 Radio Network.
Thank you to Stan Freeberg. Thank you to Billy May and the orchestra. Thank you to X4000 for the wonderful open to the old Tube Radio Network. A couple of housekeeping things. One, I'm going to not forget to turn on the radio behind me, so let me unkey. I got to do that.
Hey, Dennis.
All right, you caught me away from the foot switch. Go ahead, sir.
Just wondering if I could check in my general radio telephone.
All right, proceed. Proceed with the check-in. Over.
Okay, I am checking in my general MC11A with my 575 M6 power microphone on my Moonraker 4. Go ahead.
And it sounds good. It is super loud. I hope you have a chance to check in on the video playback. You will be very excited and pleased with how good this radio is sounding more than 5 miles away. Over.
There you go. Okay, well, I know conditions are up and down. I just wanted to hear it. Roger?
Yeah, we're hearing it here in Central California. They're probably hearing it in Southern and Northern California. I'm putting up a picture, so if anybody is listening and wants to know what it might look like, the MC11A. So if you can hear me, take another transmission, and you are radio number 1. Over.
All right, I sure appreciate it. All right, we'll get out of the way. It's getting busy. 73s, thanks again. Number 30, back to next.
All right, and if we work it right, it might be a super MC11A kind of day, showing the picture from the collection of SWL135, who I'm sure we'll be hearing from shortly. And there are a couple of super MC11As or 11s out there on the frequency, radio number 1. All the way from Idaho, the Potato Patch, SWL30, sounding good.
Yeah, and I'm further away.
Well, I don't know, 6-7 miles, who knows? And we are definitely hearing some static or lightning crashes out there. All right. I have to do the pen, and then we will ask for local radios. So if you've got a radio, where's the pen? They're pointing. Oh, all right. Our pocket protector item of interest tonight, Allen Radio and Electric Bridgeport Laundromat. So it's a radio, electric, and a laundromat. So buy a capacitor, wash your wash your undies. I don't know. The phone, 65. What is that? What is phone 65 Bridgeport? Let me see if I can get the less than stellar camera up on this one. Yeah. Allen. Let's go super close. No, it ain't gonna happen. Allen Radio and Electric Bridgeport phone 65. I don't know what that is. That must be very old. Must be back in the days when you pulled a little crank and you got Josephine on the other end and she put the patch cord in. All right, without any further ado, this is the Old Tube Radio Network, and we are listening for any and all check-ins. Over.
135, 135. Number 7.
All right, 2 heard. I am putting in the pin, the pocket protector. Number 7, jump into the green room. We will take you shortly. Don't go away. Try not to lose things here. And 135. Just a reminder, you don't have to have a number to check anything and to do anything here. If you've got a radio, this is the place to be. Mr. Green Arrow, step under the air chair and take a transmission. Over.
Oh, okay, already? That's cool. Hey, see, just the teensiest bit low now in frequency. Hello. Not quite getting as much swing as I was earlier. I think it's just been on too long. It's getting tired. This radio here is from Brooklyn, New York, and the Sonar Radio Corporation. This is the Sonar Model E. Back to you.
I was trying to guess what that was. It's got super loud audio, punchy audio, but not overdone, and it wasn't, it didn't sound like like hand mic, but I bet it is. Sonar Model E as in Echo. Aha, we actually have one from your collection. It could actually be the one that you were running. Let me bring it up and we'll go back to you.
Okay, well, if it is the picture of this one, does it have the meter on top? I do have the meter hooked up. Is it the picture of the Model E with the sonar meter?
It is indeed the picture with the Sonar Model E with the meter. Let me go to a different picture that will show. Oops, that's interesting. Show all of it. Yes, there's the sonar meter with the call letters. I'm not sure. I don't think that's your call letters, but some call letters on there. And then the radio itself has some call letters. It is the item over.
Yeah, okay, that would be mine then. And incidentally, on that meter, you are showing just shy of 10 over. I can change that, actually. You know how these things are. I can actually adjust that to make you come in just about any way I like. But that's where you usually hit me, so that's where I set it up. Okay, let's see. This thing has 8 channels, transmit and receive crystal controlled, or the crystal controlled transmit and VFO tuning receive, which is kind of fun. The microphone is as pictured. I guess you can't see it very well in that picture, but it is the original Sonar large dark gray plastic unamplified handheld microphone. Oh, and did I forget to mention 9 tubes? Yeah, it's got 9 tubes in it. Back to you.
After Cliff.
Okay, copy on the after Cliff. Can you go after Ed?
Of course I can. I mean, of course, after Mr. Ed.
All right, good deal. We'll just keep everybody in order. Sounds good. And welcome home. Thank you for the wake-up call. Back to the radio. So obviously there's no S meter on the radio proper. Let me get their other screen here. But Sonar made, I'm looking at that case. It says Sonar, so it almost looks homebrew. Although it's got the rounded edges and the crinkle finish, so maybe not. But pretty cool. They made a way to accessorize radio. Nice audio, 8 channels. I will give you a frequency check when you come back by. If you're off frequency, it's not by much because it sounds good. Over.
Okay. And yeah, I agree with you. It's just a little tin box, but it does have the nice raised red plastic sonar script on there. So that's reasonably professional looking. I have seen others. I do not have the external speaker. That'd be a really cool thing to find. But yeah, it plugs into a socket in the back of the radio, and it works just great. Back to you.
All right, hope you can hear me through the skip. I hear you just fine, so not a problem there. I zoomed in. It looks like it goes to 40 over. That's 60, 40 over, signal strength. Does it, here's a question. Does it measure anything other than signal strength, like there's a switch on the back and it'll do modulation, or just when you key up it will, I guess, or maybe RF. So, okay, here's the question. Let me phrase it properly. When you key up, or is that key down, what happens to that meter?
Yeah, it like right now, it drops all the way down to 0. It does not show output, which is odd considering that there's like 4 wires and everything going to it. But no, it does not show anything in transmit. In receive, it shows S units and dB, and then underneath that, if you're looking and see that other scale, that's the microvolts scale. So you're hitting me at just above 100 microvolts. So that's all that does. It's for receive, either S units and dBs or microvolts of receive, but nothing on the output.
That's pretty cool. I love the microvolts because I believe, and back when this radio come out, there was sort of a policy for some radios that at S9 it was 100 microvolts, or at S9 it was 50 microvolts. Art Collins, with his Collins radio, sort of made a standard. And I will have to look that up. If he was, this one is definitely showing, they're calibrating it at 100 microvolts for S9. That might be the Collins calibration. I know there was a Kenwood calibration where it was 50 at 9, but pretty cool. So yeah, I always like to get my my signal report in microvolts going to a close-up of the radio itself. Really cool knobs with the little cross hatches in the center. Ivory color. I don't think those would be Bakelite, probably plastic, but looks pretty cool. The Dymo label maker showing the channels. Speaking of which, you are very close to being right on frequency. 270849, so possibly 100 cycles on the low side, but I think you knew that.
37.
Yeah. That's what my meter indicates right now. It was flipping between 4.9 and 5.0 earlier, but like I say, it sunk just a little bit, with time. But, yeah, it's a cool little meter to have. It's a nice little radio. The antenna light, which is red up top, also acts as a modulation light. And the green light below it, of course, is just an on, radio is on indicator. I'm on channel 2 on this thing, which is channel 11, because that was the most stable socket of the bunch. And with that, I'll go ahead and let the channel rock and roll. Thanks for being here, and thanks for letting me check this in.
Okay, thanks for bringing it by. Very interesting, getting some good comments on the Sonar Model E. Just seeing if I have any other info when that might have been produced. And I do not tune in crystal, so obviously you go to the crystal position, you will get crystal control transmit and receive. I was looking at the tuning, and that is, it's very tight. So I'm assuming that is geared down, so when you turn it, it slowly moves a little pointer close to where you want to be. Don't see a spot button, so it looks like it takes a little bit of driving to get that thing going, but a nice, let's back out, nice cool radio with the external and probably very rare to find Sonar S meter, which probably attached to some other model radios that did not have, the smaller channel radios that did not have the S meter in already. We're marking it down as Radio 2 tonight, the Sonar Model E sounding good. I'm adding Chris to the mix. We're on Radio 2, Chris. You'll be radio number 5. So, as they say, don't go away.
I will try to hang on as long as I possibly can.
All right, this is the hang on, and I know that for sure. Hang on as long as you possibly can frequency. Let me get a SWL check-in saying hello to 785. Who's checking in from 10 feet under. And Larry, checking in from 10 feet under is much better than checking in from 6 feet under. So I'm glad you have picked the proper subterranean altitude. Hello, Mr. Ed, if you are hearing me through the noise. Hello, over.
Hello, OTR and OTR members. Bringing the Tram TR27E. Nice big green radio.
Big green radio. I know that Chrissy, who is listening in, may have just maybe stepped away from her current project and is getting a little bit closer to the speaker and the Universal Media NetWeb. So I will endeavor to hopefully put a nice picture of that indeed that very green radio up on the screen and go back to you for a transmission. Over.
Yes, the big green radio, big 5x7 speaker, big S meter, and the Electro Voice 638 microphone attached.
Sounding good. They're final in the line on the 27 series back in probably 1963 or 64. They even gave you helpful hints on their advertisements on how to do service on the transmitter and the receiver. I guess their lawyers didn't tell them that it probably wouldn't be a bad idea or a good idea if someone did it the wrong way. But I'm glad that they trusted us. Looks like it can do I see an external crystal socket. So you've got the rotating VFO receive, but you can run crystal controlled if you want. Do you have a crystal for channel 11 in that socket?
You know, I have not tried anything in that actual external receive.
All right, well, Harvey, who's next. Listen, Harvey, I wonder if that would actually take a full 27085 or if there's some multiple mixing thing, you know, like you need 11 megahertz or something. So I wonder what the frequency of the crystal would be, if it has to be minus or plus something. The Tram TR27E. Lots of fun, probably easy to work on. Looks like there's plenty of room in there. The meter, let me go to the close-up here. The meter goes up to, does it, am I reading that right? It goes to 60 over?
That is correct. It goes to 60 over, but I think you'd have to drive up underneath my antenna to get it to go there.
All right, and there's no other markings. I thought, well, maybe that might be, there was some stuff on them, but it says S units in decibels, so it doesn't give you the microvolts, but 60 over was a very common setting on shortwave receivers. I don't know what the plus or minus would be. And I'll have to find out if there was a difference with 40 or 60, why they would do one or the other, if that meant something. It means that you are sounding good, for sure. Radio number 3 on the Tram TR27E. Take another transmission, and thanks for bringing it by on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Oh, well, there you go. And yes, you're hitting the 20 by just a hair over, in fact, just the line of the gauge there over the 20. So, yeah, you're that close, and that's as much as you can do. So it'd be a big station to get more.
Indeed. All right, thanks for bringing us radio number 3 tonight. The skip is starting to die out. It's very selective. Dwayne, who knows how to work it, can always jump in there, but it looks like the Southern Pacific is going away. All right, and I missed this from 23 Scuti. 100 microvolts is S9 on the sonar meter. Most modern rigs use a 50 volt. That's what I thought, a 50 microvolt reference. I know the Kenwoods, like the TS2000. The new solid state rigs do a 50 microvolt reference for S9, since most S meters are non-linear anyway. A 3 dB difference in signal strength on the meter is hardly noticeable. So there's ways to calibrate. You can go with Art Collins, which I'm sure probably a lot of our tube radios go, or you can go with a more modern Kenwood 50 over S9. It'll just, like Mitch says, it'll just change your S meter reading a couple of dB, but there you go. Might give you a stronger signal, but it's all relative anyway. Thanks for bringing by the Tram. It's sounding good.
Thank you.
You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. They're saying the Jingle Singers would like to pop in before we head over to, where are we going? Going to SWL 20. All right, Harvey, step up in the air chair, but to stand by. Jingle Singers will be doing what they do best, and then we'll be out to you.
Let's do some spelling.
OTR. 27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. Old Tube Radio.
The best radio, thanks to our tube radio operators who keep us going all these years. I think since 1986. It's been a long time. The Old Tube Radio beaconing the airwaves most Saturday evenings when a net controller or two sits in the air chair and says, hey, what have you got? Speaking of what have you got, hello, Harvey.
Oh, what have I got? Okay, first of all, the crystal for the 27E, 13542.5. And the Tram does something really crazy. Channel 1 is channel 1, a 13 megahertz crystal. Channel 2 isn't there. Channel 2 is channel 3 with a weird capacitor type, inductor type thing going from the channel 3 crystal down to the 2. Same with 5 to 4, 7 to 6, such and such and such. But you do have a dedicated 11 crystal, 13542.5, and his is a little off, and I think it's a little low. I can't tell on this radio, but I've got a bunch of them if it ever becomes an issue.
All right, you just grab into that big box of crystals and have at it. All right, well, good information. I'm just so used to my old Hallicrafter's walkie-talkie when it's 27085 on the transmit, and then the receive was, what, 455 or 4... I think it was 455 below that. Made things so simple. So back in the day, where there all these crystals hanging around, so you went to the shop. You went over to the shop and asked for a crystal, and they would know when you asked for tram, they'd pull up the right one out of the box. It seems confusing to me. I'm glad you know what's going on. All right, tell us about your radio. Over.
Okay. Some people wanted a Johnson 223 messenger, and I have a few that I've been working on, but they all have crystal problems. At least 2 crystals are either way off or just bad. And one type crystal takes every 4th channel, and the other crystal takes 4 in a row. So I went up on the shelf and got down a radio that's the clone of the 223, the Sears 7535. All the crystals work in it. This one, though, does have one modification. They put a transmit modulation light in it. I didn't do it, they did it. It glows orange, and it looks like the front bumper from a 1956 Cadillac. One of the 2 sides, the big, you-know-what that pokes out. Anyway, a gentleman asked about the 223, and then I told him I had this, and he's supposed to get back to me. If he doesn't, I'm going to sell it, because I got another one up on the shelf. Doesn't come with the stock mic. In a pinch, I could put a Johnson mic on it, desk mic, which I do have, and I'm using. The problem is it kind of goes with one of the 223s. Anyway, I was going to say something else about it. Anyway, I'll know more about it next week.
All right, I'm trying to find a good photo. We didn't have one in our Rolodex, but you are correct. It looks very similar to, and I remember as a young net controller back in 1969 and 70, seeing that in the Sears Roebuck catalog and really, really wanting one. And it had the cool, and I hope I can find a picture of it, the cool Sears Roebuck label, the S and the R together, that sort of looked like the atomic logo on the front of the radio. But indeed, and you are confirming my suspicion that it's probably was made for Sears, of course, by E.F. Johnson, and they just made some very slight changes to the original, not the modifications you were talking about. But were you to look inside of that, it would be very much like a Messenger 223.
Okay. What they did is they put an audio boost rocker switch, kind of horizontal there, on the front below the speaker next to the headphone plug, which is on the front. Anyway, actually it's an audio or modulation reducer. It cuts it. They put a resistor in line that you short out, and wait, it's feeding back. Why? Let me see. I don't know why it's feeding back. Normally it doesn't. I gotta hit it. Nope. I don't know why it's feeding back, but I can try another mic on it where it doesn't feed back. Anyway, I do have another radio on up above it, so I'm wondering if it's kind of feeding back into it. But anyway, it does about 5 3/4, to about 13, 14. And if the other gentleman doesn't want it, it's going to be for sale. I'll know more next week.
Okay, very good. Yeah, when you did your thing there, the audio did come up. But as you mentioned, it was a little too much, and you got the oscillation of the feedback. But it did bring it up. The best I can do is a Bad Sam's photo fax of the 7535 model from Sears. So it is the front of it is a little bit different, it looks like, but not too much. They still kept the same front end on there. All right, well, it is working. I will give me another transmission, and I'll give you a, and you probably already know, but I'll give you a frequency check here.
Okay. I put another mic on. I think this one is a bit more lively.
Yeah, it is. I was tuning you in, so I want you to come back. It is more lively, and you are not piercing the ears of our SWLs. That tone is very loud when it came in. So now you are louder. You are 27084.5, 0845, so about 500 cycles low. Give us another transmission on the new microphonium over.
Okay. Let's see. That's with the range boost or audio boost on. No feedback, so I guess it's the mic or something. I don't know. But I was working on it a while back, so I'll check it out and see. But anyway, no mic goes with this, but I'll provide two, yes, I said two, mic plugs for it, because it's an odd mic plug. It's kind of like, I think it's like the 4-pin tram. Or is it? I'm trying to think. Anyway, it's a 4-pin plug. Let me look at it here. Oh, no, it's a 5-pin plug. There we go. It's a weird 5-pin plug. Kind of looks like the 4-pin tram plug and general plug. But this is 5-pin, and I got a bunch of them.
All right, is it like the DIN 5-pin, or is it more like a standard, standard size? It just got an extra pin in it.
Kind of a DIN plug. Anyone familiar with the trams above the? Oh shoot! Come on, Harv. I think the Titan, possibly the Titan 2. Anyway, it's these kind of screw-on. It plugs in, and then you clip this ring around over and lock it on. Anyway, it's a 5-pin plug, and kind of like a DIN plug. And I got a bunch of them, so I'll provide two to whoever wants this thing. Anyway, it's not going to go for a big, huge price, but it is kind of rare. It's hard to find these. I happen to find two. Okay, back to you. How late are you going to be doing the show?
Until everybody gets checked in, I can at least go to 10:30. I think my body will last until that. So we'll see. Main thing is I want to make sure that everybody who's around with a radio can get checked in, like you on the Sears 7535 E.F. Johnson Messenger 225 clone, sounding a nice loud audio. That microphone is probably a little less clear than the other one, but it's nice and loud, and so and no problem there at all. It's doing what it's supposed to. Somebody mentioned the Echolink. Yeah, there is no Echolink because some of the parts and pieces I need to properly do an Echolink so that it's not like an impossible thing for me to maneuver it. Did not show up on their way back from Seattle. So hopefully at some point I will get all that stuff that is supposed to be coming my way, and we will not have a problem. But I didn't receive all my goods, as it were. So part of the thing that makes the Echolink link and workable thing was not here tonight. So I thought, well, what the heck? We can get on the air without it. But I know a lot of stations like to check in that way. All right, Harvey, you are sounding good. I put you down at Radio 4, and sounds like another winner. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. We're out.
Okay, speaking of we're out, the Jingle Singers, they want to do again. All right, they've missed They've missed you all the last 2 weeks. Who's coming up next? Chris, get up in the air, share, and after the jingle singers, it is your turn, the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're listening in the latest style.
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
And, some people do say that Fresno, California is wonderful. It is certainly wonderful on a Saturday evening when we are checking in those tube radios. Hello, Christopher, over.
Okay, well, Dennis, I cannot stay long. I got to get back in there living where there's a fire up by the daughter's house up there by Squaw Valley. She's on her way home. They're seeing the fire up that way. So I just want to check in my general radio telephone, my Super MC11A, original stock mic, and we're working. You get that, Dennis?
Yeah, I got that. You said fire, and I'm actually smelling smoke, but it smells like an electronic fire. But I've got it, so hopefully things are okay somewhere. Over.
Yeah, it's up there on 180. She could see it where she's headed home right now, going up 180, and it's right there going up the hill right there, she was saying. So I get in here and see what's going on.
All right, thanks for checking in. We've got our second general radio telephone of the evening.
All right, Dennis, I'm out.
Hey, Dennis.
Now, this is the basic Dennis, over.
I left my mic tester on, and it feeds back in there.
Wait a minute. It is feeding back now. So what? Say that again?
Yeah, this mic likes to feed back. I had my mic tester on, and it fed back into it. And still kind of wants to feed that. Well, wait, let me lock this thing on. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, it still does it. Well, maybe I gotta check the mic cord or do something. Yeah. Wasn't doing that before, but who knows? But other mics work fine with it. Okay. I got one more to go, and then I'm done, and I gotta get something to eat.
Okay. Very good. I'm going to take a transmission. Here we go. I had some meters telling me that things are off. I am definitely smelling. Just when Chris mentioned it, I'm definitely smelling some heavy smoke coming in, but it smells like electronic stuff. So I'm looking at the amp. I went over to the amp. It looks good. So I think we're okay. Trying to find the foot switch. And speaking of smoke, hello, OTR. I think we're going to get a double check-in out of this one. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think so. 50 checking in, and might as well check in the old Brown Bird Golden Eagle Mark III sideband and standard mic.
All right. Is there anything that just standard on the Browning? Everything was deluxe, but it's just the way it came. You are super loud. Hope all is going well, and the Mark III SSB will put up a picture just because we can, and we will get you checked in as SWL 50, and we appreciate you stopping by on a Saturday evening. Over.
All right, thanks for doing the show. Getting a little rain up here. Smells wonderful.
Yeah, there was some lightning. We had a station check-in from, I guess, Sequoia, so there is some clouds or something going on. I heard the lightning crashes on the receiver here, and I think they just said there's a fire up near Squaw Valley, so maybe that's lightning related. So we've got some wacky weather going on. We certainly don't need any fires going on. Thanks for checking in. You are radio number 6.
And it's raining outside right now.
All right, so maybe that's why I'm smelling. We've got some strange weather going on.
How about this one?
Yeah, stand by. I've got some paperwork here to do. I think I'm convinced that my radio room is not blowing up. All right, and go ahead and take a transmission on radio 7. Over.
Okay. The Golden Beagle R68T68 by Browning Laboratories. Let's get this one in. Okay. Good show, Dennis. You did well, even though you were sleepwalking through it. Okay, I'm going to go get something to eat. Catch you next week.
All right, give me the radio again. Over.
The Browning Golden Beagle R68T68 by Browning Laboratories.
Okay, I should have known that, but I just wanted to make sure my attention was diverted. Because whatever is burning, I'm still smelling it, but I think it's coming through the window. And rightly enough, 23 Skidoo said, check for the papers, check for those instructions on how to use the amp underneath the amp. But sometimes I'm smart. There are no papers under that, so maybe there is some wacky stuff. There is wacky stuff going on. We'll check that out. Browning Golden Eagle Mark III. I'm sorry, the Browning R68. I was looking at the wrong thing here. I was looking at Mark's thing. The Browning R68 T68 combination, and it is sounding good. Over.
Thank you. And I'm tired too. Gotta get something to eat there. Okay, catch you next week.
All right, and barring any fires that I don't know about, we certainly want to... Yeah, you know what? Jukebox 502, I turned that off. That was the first thing I turned off. I'm thinking, well, if that's... Because it's just sitting there monitoring. So if that's flaring up, I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. So I did turn the 225 off because it had an odd smell. So I don't know. I don't think it was that. But better safe than sorry, lest we have another video show behind the OTR net control. Any call for Skipland? Is Skip still listening to us out there? All right, and the Jingle Singers, they want to go to bed too, so here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
All right, we'll call the current and final totals, and thanks to those who came in tonight. It was a nice little respite from OTR the last 2 weeks. I was busy. Both times I was busy, but it was good stuff. So glad to be back on the air chair. And I will be right back. I want to check one more thing here. All right, I have returned. I wanted to take one of those old buzzer transmissions at the end here to do a little bit of something we haven't done in a while with our friends from ETC, but given the conditions, and I'm not sure if I have an issue, I am not going to take a 3-minute transmission just this yet until I check everything out. 7 radios tonight. SWL-wise, we had one on page 16. Page 1 had 16. Page 2 had 19. 17 on page 3 and 15 on page 4 for a total of 67 shortwave listeners tonight. The new 00. It's just the first 8-week period. New 00. Neil out of Kakalaki, SWL 147. So thanks, Neil. He's done it before. He knows what to do. And then we added Hans, Alpha 173, as SWL 15. All right, radios tonight. The most heard manufacturer was a tie between the Brownings, coming up strong on the end, and the General Radio Telephones. Starting with the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A from Dwayne in Idaho, direct, couple of times, but got it official at the right time. Sounding really good, nice loud audio. So Dwayne, if you're listening or you want to listen, go back and check out the replay on the audio or on the video link. Sonar Model E, sounding good, a classic mid-century modern kind of style radio. Sonar did a good job on those, and that was a precursor to their 23-channel radios with the push-pull audio. Always sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Green Arrow, for Radio 2. The Tram TR27E, radio number 3. Thank you, Ed, for that. The classic and seldom unseen Sears 7535 E.F. Johnson clone. If you can find online, or maybe you got one in the catalog pile, go back to 1969, 1970. Sears Roebuck catalog actually sold CB radios. They sold antennas. And that radio, the Sears 7535, was definitely on their pages, probably with a couple of walkie-talkies as well. So, good old Sears Roebuck, Montgomery Ward, J.C. Penney, all sold CB radios back in the day. Chris on the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. Thanks for the hit and run, Chris. I hope everything is okay up there in the hills. That was Radio 5. Radio 6, Monkey's Uncle, sounding good down the hill here, where it's raining just about everywhere now. I don't know. It's very unusual to have rain in August. Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, and that was followed by Harvey on his Browning R68. T68 Golden Beagle. So thanks, everybody, whether you're from Ontario, Canada, Toledo, Ohio. You know what? I don't know if the Squamish boys are in. Let me see. I'm just going to do a quick test to see if our uplink is on tonight. It looks like it might be, so hold on a second.
How about one more Browning?
Oh, one more Browning is a good thing, over.
Yeah, I got called away there for a second, so I just came back and I heard you ending it. So, yeah, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB.
All right, let's do a Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB as Radio 8. Yeah, had you not been called away, I'm sure you would have been Radio 7. And with that, you put the Brownings over the top as the most heard radio, and you are very loud, over.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's the old banana-type microphone, so nothing but Browning.
Yeah, certainly loud. We've lost our skip going on tonight, but you are very loud. And I think at the last, there's some people chatting up there. I don't hear them on 27085, so we might be able to pick up Albert and the gang up there. We'll see what happens, but sounding good for radio number 8, Mark III SSB with the. I don't know if they're rare. They're just unobtainable these days on the microphone.
There you are. Yeah, they are getting a bit rare.
All right, sounding good. We're getting reports of rain around the valley, up in the hills, down here in the flatlands, so we've got some interesting weather going on. I could even hear some lightning crashes coming in a little bit earlier. I don't hear them now, though.
Well, thank you, 73s.
All right, 73, thanks for the Browning radio, taking us up to 8 radios tonight.
Hey, Mr. Green, I'm jumping on the hippo's back and riding them like a horse. Kill you, Mr. Green, Mad Max,
And here comes the Skipland back again. All right, looking to see if I can get some audio. It should be coming through here. Let me find my audio control. Oh, it's turned down, that's why. Here we go. This will be coming in from 27085 up in Squamish. So if they're listening in, there's some big signals going on there tonight. But looks like it's the old tube radio listening on Channel 11 up in British Columbia. I had a nice time up in Victoria, British Columbia just 2 days ago. What a beautiful city.
I made him sit down again. Hey, Mr. Green, I made him sit down again. Tell him shut his big mouth. Take it, Mr. Green.
Oh, you know what it is? It's the, I think it's the same skip land we're hearing. That's these big splattery signal. There you go, let me turn it down. That's confusing. That's a big splattery signal going on. I mean, that signal is like 20K wide. Here's somebody. Let's see, is it there?
What you did that for, man? Hey, Plastic, you took off Mr. Green. Yeah, Plastic.
All right, well, there you go. There's skip land from Squamish coming in.
I ain't trying to take them out because some big boys up here.
Dennis 428 trying to check in.
All right, and there's 428. There's. I'll turn this down. There's the signal we want. A nice, clean, 6K wide signal. So 428. Talk around the skip land, and we'll hear you just fine. The L2 Radio Network listening.
The big ear and the evergreen. And then next, I hear it all day. I hear it all day, Mad Max. In another condition, Plastic, bye.
Hello, Dennis. Yes, we can hear you just fine.
Plastic.
We're just here trying to get some DS.
Plastic, you got Mother Nature in your hands. Yeah, Plastic. Bye.
All right, sounding good even through the skip. You guys got a nice looking signal on the uplink. Sounding good. Glad I could catch you on 27085. Like I said, I was up in your neck of the woods last week and had a great time. So the weather was absolutely nice. 70 degrees, and a good time was had by most. So thanks for joining us tonight up there in Squamish. Over.
Break, Dennis, 256, Albert, wave. And 73, thank you for doing the show, and I'm glad you made it up to our neck of the woods. One day we'll make it down there. You take care. 73 is over.
All right, good deal. There's the signal coming in. You're watching the video. Looking good up there in Squamish, BC. All right, good deal. Got you guys checked in tonight, live and direct on the Old Tube Radio Network. It's interesting when we're hearing skip from 1,000 miles away coming in. All right, let me get back to the control room here. Say hello, radio, or in this case, it would be goodbye, radio. I'll be listening for a little bit, Greg. It sounds like we could have some E-skip conditions because the band is certainly still open. Let me take a look at the DX map if I can find it here, and see if we're still showing some openings, which we are. Looks like we could be good. I like that 51. That's a good almost 6 meter opening right there, right where you guys are. So could be coming up the valley, and you see the cloud. So I'll be listening. I'll leave the stream up for a little bit, and we'll say 73 to all the listeners and Old Tube radio operators from your Old Tube Radio Network. And Levant, no, I didn't need a maid and a cook. You are really well pampered on the floating shopping mall. I mean, there's a crew of about 1,000, and they are there to make sure that you are happy because you're paying a lot of money, I think. So anyway, didn't need to take them along. Yeah, that DX window is dropping out fast, it looks like.
I was sleeping by. Hey, Mad Max. Old Hippo hear me, and he's gonna kill too, Hippo. Bye. Mother Nature, Mother Nature, Mother Nature, Mother Nature. They got Mother Nature in there. Big Mako. Hey, Mad Max. He's got an awful big Mako. That 3000 he runs by. That's a big Mako by. Hey, I don't want to hurt his feelings. I don't want to hurt his feelings. Bye. You'll have